go ahead and start recording. You know, we like to keep things moving at Get Moving Middleton. So I want to start out, first of all, by thanking our sponsors, our June sponsors, our community co-works, The Healthy Place, and our annual sponsors who ensure that we're able to keep this very popular program going. MG&E, Marco Technologies, Premier Retirement Partners, and Hilton Garden Inn. I also want to say how great it is to see so many smiling faces this bright sunny morning. We have missed all of you, and we're just absolutely thrilled to have you participate in our first ever virtual GMM. So welcome everybody, and we are just thrilled to get you here virtually, and hopefully we'll see you soon in person. Okay, just a couple of housekeeping items. I'm sure we've all been on a million of these by now, but it never hurts to go over things again. So please make sure that you leave yourself on mute. This is a large group, and we will take you off of mute when we go out into the breakout sessions for FaceTime. You can take yourself off of mute by pushing the microphone button on the bottom left of your screen. AJ, not you though. You can't touch that button. If there's a red slash on your microphone, you're on mute. If there isn't, you're able to be heard. We would really love for you to use your cameras today. It just makes things a little bit more personal, and we don't care. We don't care if you haven't showered. We don't care if you have greasy hair. We don't care if you are in your pajamas. So if you're willing and able, kick your camera on. That's also really easy to do. It's next to the mute button. You'll see the start and stop video. For those of you that are connecting through your computer through AirPods, we have found that sometimes the audio quality is bad. So if that's happening, maybe try connecting by dialing in and connect to your phone's Bluetooth. If you're seeing a glitch or slowdown, it could be because you have family members all using devices, so that could be an issue as well. The chat feature will be utilized today, so please feel free to group chat. You can also individually chat to anybody who's on the call. However, do remember that, not that we would or we have time to, but we are able to view those chats after the call. So the first thing we would like you to do, if you haven't already, is we want everybody to be able to see who's here and what business they're with. So you can update that if you look at your picture and you hover over it, there are 3 dots, and you click on those 3 dots and you can rename. So if you want to put at least your first name in your company, or your first name and last name and the company that you're representing. And we all appreciate you being here for our first GMM. So our job is to make connections, and so because we're not able to pass business cards, Kristen is going to send an email with all of the attendees today to all of the attendees, so everybody has everybody's contact information. Typically we don't share email addresses, but we do plan on doing that. So if you don't want your email address included, please make sure that you email Kristen, and she will remove that from the spreadsheet that we'll send around. And we just ask that you do that by the end of the day on Friday, because she is going to send that out on Monday morning. And her email will be at the end of the program today if you don't already have it. I know that typically we have community events calendar and our calendar sat out at the tables. Clearly we don't, but all of that information is out on our website. Right. So I invite everybody to go out to middletonchamber.com and check out what's going on in the community, and check out what we have coming up in the next weeks and months. Also, at the beginning of the pandemic, we started a resource page on our website. On our homepage, there's a link to it, and there is a lot of information about grants, funding, CDC recommendations, that type of thing. And there's also some free educational programming that our members are providing. So make sure that you go out and check out that page. We've also created a COVID category on our directory page. And there are a lot of businesses that are able to help you as it relates to an HR checklist for opening, getting your office set up. You know, if you want to build out, while you're moving your office around, if you want to kind of give it a pop of color, revise what it looks like. All of those businesses are listed there. If you're a business that can provide services, please let us know, and we'll add you to that directory listing. And we've had quite a few of these virtual calls. We've continued on with our professional development, and we've added quite a few. Those have been recorded and they are out on our YouTube channel. So I invite you to go and check those out. All right, so before we get started, we just want to take a quick poll to see how our businesses are doing. We'll have this poll up for about 30 seconds, and then we will publish the results afterwards. So it's one simple question, and I ask that everybody that's able to please participate.
We got about 10 seconds left, if you guys can fill that out for Kate.
Okay. Well, this is actually some pretty good news. Looks like 51% said less than a year, 11% were not affected, 33% said 1 to 3 years, 3% said 3 to 5, 2% said 5 years, and 0% said we will never recover. I appreciate you guys all participating. We do get statistics for, you know, Madison and the surrounding communities in Dane County, but we're not getting statistics directly to Middleton, so this is very helpful. All right, and with that, I will turn it over to our membership coordinator, director, manager extraordinaire, Lisa Klum. Can we unmute Lisa?
Yep, working on it.
Can everyone hear me now?
There we go.
Yes.
Sorry about that. It's only my second Zoom call since COVID, so I'm still learning my way around. I'm super happy to be here with everyone today. I'm excited to recognize membership milestones, new members, and some amazing ambassadors. So to start with our membership milestones, we do have several, and it's because we haven't, of course, met in person. So I'll just quickly read through these. So at 68 years, we have the Middleton Times-Tribune, 43 years, Isthmus Eye Care, 30 years, Middleton Outreach Ministry, 25 years, Nieder and Boucher and State Bank of Cross Plains, Middleton. At 20 years, we have Middleton Senior Center, Rural Mutual Insurance Company, and Capital Bank. At 15 years, we have Russell Law, Clausen Quality Chocolate, NSI, a division of West Bend Mutual. And then for 10 years, we have Guggen's Advisors, Pheasant Branch Apartments, Jorley Law, Potter Lawson, Miker CPAs, Middleton Community Church, United Church of Christ, and Culligan Total Water. For 5 years, we have Cressa Madison, Angus Young Associates, Furman Dodge, Middleton Station, Primrose School of Middleton, Aqua Plumbing, Rip Sewer and Drain Cleaning, and Tricor. So just a quick round of applause for all of those amazing members who've been super loyal over the years. And then next up is welcoming our new members. And so as part of the introduction today, we've asked them, what makes your business stand out? So first up is Brad Brown from Caliber Collision. And when asked what makes Caliber Collision stand out, Brad said that even though Caliber Collision is the largest collision repair company in the world, the company remains purpose-driven. And that purpose is to restore the rhythm of their customers' lives, not just through collision repair, but through community involvement and doing the right thing. And they are also committed to getting all their customers back on the road as quickly as possible. So next up is Sam Flynn from Flynn Audio. And when asked what makes Flynn Audio stand out, Sam said, the one thing that makes them really stand out is their no BS approach to sales. They find the perfect fit for every customer, and their margin is never in that calculation. And of course, this morning, if you missed it, Tim from Apple Wellness said that Sam is the coolest dude in the world. So hopefully you'll all get a chance to join or to meet Sam at some point if you haven't already. And then last up is Joe Gallagher from Raymaker and Associates. And when asked what makes them stand out, Joe said that they're a full-service architecture, interior design, and engineering firm. Their team can help with everything from due diligence surveying, environmental and geotech reporting, through structural, MEP, aquatics, and civil engineering, as well as architecture, interior design, landscape partners, and FF&E procurement groups, allowing them to truly be a one-stop shop. And then to put the icing on the cake, they're also an ESOP, meaning that every employee is a partial owner in the company. It makes the internal support, collaboration, genuine interest, and care across disciplines that much more prevalent. So welcome to these new members. And then finally is recognizing our ambassadors of the month. And those are Rosa Pauls and Sung Hee Gritman. Rosa and Sung Hee have really stepped up and helped with current members and new member outreach, as well as through promoting chamber members through social media posts. So congratulations to Rosa and Sung Hee, and thank you for all that you're doing. And then just finally, a brief comment regarding our chamber microgroups. These are the current ones that we're aware of. If you're interested in joining one, I'd recommend reaching out to the main contact person to see how you can get involved with them. And that's all for me. So now I'll turn it back to Kristen.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here. It's great to see all of you. I wanted to just run through a couple of the upcoming chamber events for you guys. So we do have an on-track session. That's our social media path this year. Next week, Thursday, Chantel Sumis will be joining us to talk about how to make money on social media. And really her focus here is about content and how to build thought leadership. So the registration for that is available through our website. We also have FaceTime. So we, haven't been able to get together face-to-face as much as we wanted to. So this is a new program we have recently launched. It's based very closely off of to what we do here at GMM. And it's really our FaceTime through this separate program is to facilitate authentic connections electronically. So we're looking to bring members together in small groups. It's really just an online networking session. So if you're interested in that, we would encourage you to join us. And then we also have our monthly economic development coming up in June as well, where we'll be hearing from the Wisconsin Procurement Institute on what it takes to compete and win in the world's largest market. So we're shifting that a little bit conversation to consider what's going on in the world right now. But I think that will be a really good session for you guys to attend as well. And then my most exciting and wonderful news that I'm excited to share is that we are going to have a golf outing this year. So it is not going to look probably like it has the last few years, but we're really excited to be able to offer this to you guys because we know how much you guys enjoy it, and we do as well. It's not how I envisioned my first chamber golf outing planning to go, but we are in the mix of figuring out the logistics for that. So you guys will be getting details within the next week. We expect signups to still go super fast, so make sure that you are watching for those. And we do have several sponsorship opportunities still available. So if you are interested in sponsorship, please send me an email, and I would love to chat with you about that. So super excited to have the board's support and our planning committee and Pleasant View's support in helping us trying to execute a golf outing, because we know several organizations probably won't be able to get theirs in like they have. So we're just excited to bring that to you.
All right, I'm going to take over. So we're going to hear from our monthly sponsors next, and up is Community Co-works. We've all proven that we can, for the most part, work remotely. However, there are times where we do need that professional office environment, and so Community Co-works is a great option for how business is being run today versus 2 months ago. So with that, I will turn it over to Christy.
Hey, thank you. I am not gonna lie, being the very first person to do this virtually when I was nervous enough about it before is one thing, but it's good to see a lot of familiar faces out there. And so here we go. Let me tell you a little bit about Community Co-works. Christy's going next. The name Community Co-works came from the fact that community to me is one of my foundational values, something my husband and I raised our children with. We firmly believe that the community you have is the community you create. So these are a few of the things that I do to that end. I am an ambassador with the Middleton Chamber of Commerce. I'm our trustee on the Good Neighbor Festival board. I've been a past president. I'm on the Historical Society board, Try for Schools captain. Try for Schools is a tenant here at Community Co-works too. So if you see me around at any one of these things, please come up and say hello, because it's always good to get to know other chamber members outside of chamber events. You can move on, Kristen. So what is co-working? Prior to March 24th, when the governor gave us our order, co-working was really a space for all of the get-together things. We were here collaborating, constructing, communicating, cooperating, coexisting, conspiring, and then there's the next one. After that, things have changed a little bit. And where are we going forward? I'm going to tell you, the industry doesn't really know. You know, some people are very comfortable now working at home, but other employers are noticing that they can save money by downsizing their office. So, you know, we will be here for that as well. We're just going to do it a little more remotely, a little less of, you know, the happy hours, and a little more of the virtual kinds of things like that. So in the past, the other kind of places that you might have worked would have been in coffee shops, in the library, or at home. So coffee shops now are in this phase at 25% capacity. Libraries aren't open at home. Well, you guys have been doing it for 2 months now, longer, so you know how that's going. We are here. If home's not really working for you, we've got some space. We're still collaborating, and we're still being productive over here. So I just put up a couple of how our rates work. So if you just need 1 day to get out of the house, we have just a $10 day pass, and that's going to include coffee, tea, water, snacks, Wi-Fi printing. You just come in, sit down. You can leave your things where it is, where they are all day. I also have a couple of offices that are opening up in the next few weeks. So right now, just kind of for the pandemic only, I do have private offices that can be rented by the day. And then we also have a dedicated desk membership. With that, there's 24/7 access. So if your social distancing means that you're working at 3 o'clock in the morning, hey, who's to judge? Come on in and you can work then. And then there are private offices, like I said, that are available for rent. And they, those all include all the amenities, 24/7 access and so on. So next. So I would like to spend the rest of the time talking about something that I think is probably on everybody's mind. And, for us that have to figure out these guidelines and present the plan, the COVID has been a little confusing, but I've noticed in the last week that Forward Dane is great. They just updated on the 2nd of June. So their guidelines for best practices have been pretty good and have helped inform us. Our policy here at Community Co-works is basically the overarching thing that informs what we do is our ability to contact trace people that come and go. So clearly our members, we know them. So if we need to alert them to anything that had happened, they're here. If you come in as a non-member, We're going to log you in. We're going to take your temperature, get your email address, and I'm going to follow up in about 7 days or so and just check in and say, hey, how are you feeling? Make sure everyone's fine. And then we can communicate back to everybody that's come and gone through here. Clearly, I'm not wearing a mask, and some of the people wandering around right now aren't, but they're available and they're highly encouraged depending on how close you are to someone. And I have listed there, we've got 6 private offices, so you can come in and shut that door, 10 hot desks, and those are all spaced much more than 6 feet apart from each other. So that part of it's pretty good. And then for our members, we don't need to track members quite as carefully because they'll speak to us, and the break room is still available for them to use, whereas if you're a non-member, beverages and snacks and things are not self-service. I'll serve them to you from the front desk. And then also best practices are we've really upped our cleaning schedule, and everything is disinfected on a regular basis throughout the day. And so I do have the guidelines available. They'll be up on our website next week. If anyone wants to look at them, copy them, use them for yourself, please, feel free. Call me if you have any questions about them. And then the last thing I have to tell you is just where I'm located. So we are on Laura Lane. Laura Lane runs parallel to the Beltline and Parmenter Street. So we're between Century Avenue and Donna Drive. And everyone knows Donna Drive because that's Bruce Company and Culver's exit. So drop in. Again, next week you'll be able to sign up for a desk and pay and sign up online. So we're here. Get out of the house.
Thank you, Christy. We appreciate what you're doing in the community, and we appreciate you as a sponsor. All right, up next we have Tim from The Healthy Place, formerly known as Apple Wellness. And I said earlier, Tim has the energy, more energy than all of us combined on this call. And he has a fantastic team that are so well versed in every single product. The customer service is amazing. Clearly, I frequent there. And I absolutely love The Healthy Place. Yay, go Tim.
Yay.
Turn it
Awesome.
over to you.
Thank you, Kate, for the introduction. We like you too. So my wife and I opened The Healthy Place, formerly known as Apple Wellness, 10 years ago. In fact, June 26th is our 10-year anniversary, and I just couldn't be more thrilled celebrating it with my wife and my team and my kiddos. Boy, it's been a ride. It's been fun. We're a supplement store, so supplement vitamin store. If you haven't been into one of our locations, we have 4 in the Madison area: Sun Prairie, Fitchburg, west side of Madison, and my favorite is Middleton. And boy, oh boy, so think of, if you haven't been in, think of like a vitamin shop, except like way cooler. This is what we do is our expertise is supplements, vitamins, minerals. We know what nutrients are needed to impact an individual's health. So whether that's for quality of life, just more energy, mental clarity, focus, mood health, or whether it's for something like chronic degenerative disease, our expertise is getting the word out on natural alternatives. Basic things like Germany for 50 years, they've used arlopoic acid in treatment of Alzheimer's. Australia had major breakthroughs with curcumin in Alzheimer's. Just basic natural alternatives, whether it's chronic pain or something more degenerative disease focused or condition focused. So we're not doctors. We don't pretend to be. We're not pharmacists, although a lot of people call us their doctor. That's not what we're trying to be. I love our medical community in Madison area, and our whole mission is to support and be natural alternatives. My mom fought through cancer when I was a little guy, and much of her recovery was through the natural way. So that's like what got her into it and got us kids into it. She managed a nutrition store growing up, and that's what started the passion for me. I just started to see these stories where people were stuck. We all know about the opiate epidemic and the pharmaceutical drug problem in our country, and people matter. I mean, that's why I got into the business, is people matter. I like people. If there's one thing to invest in this life, it's people. That's the treasure. That's the reward. And it's fulfilling. It's rewarding to give. And so many of the businesses in this chat right now, that's your mission too, is to help people. So I love impacting people just in general, whether it's, making them laugh or, encouraging them, or one of my top recommendations through COVID, your people come in, what should I take? What should I take? One of my number one recommendations has been to laugh. Like, if you can just laugh, it actually literally, this will sound funny, but you literally produce more cannabinoids, and cannabinoids bring homeostasis and balance to the body and uplift the mood, and it's therapeutic to the body. So there's something kind of funny for you. My wife and I have been a team. Becky does all the graphic design and social media and manages our creative department. And, I do more of the people, taking care of the customers and on, radio or television or whatever. So we're just having a blast. We're having fun. We're figuring this thing out with the rest of us. Man, oh man, it's been quite the journey. So if you have any health conditions or any struggles, problems, and you're curious of what's the natural world saying about my condition, my problem, whether it's IBS or Crohn's or asthma or brain fog, or that's what we're here for. That's what we've been doing for 10 years. We love it. I love watching the Google reviews coming in and seeing some of those testimonies where you get breakthrough in people's life. And the other side of it is, if you're just like fatigued, you're tired, you're stressed, there's natural nutrients. It's incredible to me when you take the right nutrient and you put it into the system, what benefits it can unlock. Something so simple as fatigue. People don't know it, but when you are fatigued and stressed, your adrenals are fatigued. And if you just take adaptogenic herbs, strong adrenals equals stronger energy. And people feel that difference in just the first day. So if you're wondering why we changed our name, it's kind of funny. So many people thought we were a computer store being Apple Wellness. So we'd be getting the phone calls of, hey, my iPhone isn't turning on. And I'd see my employee across the room saying, well, turn it off, and then, turn it back on. And, so we thought the Healthy Place really summed up our mission to help people find their healthy place. We want to impact, empower, and educate. And that's what we're here for all you guys. So if you ever need anything, you can shoot me an email directly. I love working with customers. And my team, as Kate pointed out, is phenomenal. Our wellness consultants go through intensive training and tests and quizzes that they have to pass to serve our customers, because we have like 4,000 products and 200 brands, and you've got to know what product to recommend in the right situations, or else you're limited. So I'm so thankful to be a sponsor this month, and thankful for what you guys are doing. So thank you, team, and the whole community. Thank you guys for carrying us through this mission. It's been cool, the camaraderie of us all going through this together. So God bless you all, and thanks for the chance to chat.
Thank you, Tim. Your enthusiasm is it's wonderful. It's infectious. Next up, we have Marco Technologies, and with so many of us working remotely, it's more important than ever to ensure that we have the appropriate cybersecurity framework. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Perfect. Thanks for letting us present on this today, guys. I just am going to briefly introduce Marco, and then I'm going to turn it over to my CISO, Chief Information Security Officer, Mike Burgard. So Marco is a IT and security company. We focus on project managed as well as copy and printing. So we're kind of like that full circle of IT. And I got about 15 seconds. So Mike, you can take over from here.
Yeah, thanks, Drew. Good morning. So I wanted to just cover just some of the common things that we've seen from a cybersecurity perspective that impact really the small business community, predominantly in the United States. First and foremost, I wanted to just show this, and I hopefully make this available to you. I don't know, I'm assuming the slide deck goes out afterwards. So I wanted to provide the NIST Cybersecurity Framework is the small business security framework that we typically follow in the United States. It is put on by the U.S. Department of Commerce. You'll see that there's 5 key phases up there: the identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. What we see is most organizations spend all of their time focusing on protection, right? That second phase. And really what we found is all of them really have equal importance, right? We want to know where our data is at, what our data assets are. And for a small business, typically it's things like payroll, right? You have employee information, you have accounting information, possibly inventory information. And you may not have a lot of systems, but you still have a lot of important data. So Identify isn't just about the actual workstations or iPhones or some of the other things that we commonly think of. It's really about where the data is at and what are the assets that are required to really run your business. Then, we look at protection, and that's all the things everybody's familiar with. It's something you have to buy typically, right? It's antivirus products and, just different security products that you'll hear security people talk about firewalls at a business. And there's different data loss prevention techniques out there and things that we can do within Office 365. Then we'll roll into detect and respond. And this is typically two areas that businesses fall short. It's not a focus area, or at least it has not traditionally been. And what we're seeing in the last 12 to 18 months or so is detection is really almost more important than protection now. We've seen a lot of the newer techniques, especially in response to COVID, be able to evade protection products. So we've got viruses that can now get around antivirus technologies, and they have been able to effectively do so for a period of time. So we have to detect, right? Once we detect it, then it's really how we respond to it. And typically, response is often more of just having a plan, right? It's literally just documenting what are we going to do when this happens, or who are we going to call so that too long of a period doesn't go through, right? We don't want a significant lapse in time. Then we'll roll into recovery, and that's where backup is going to go. So I could talk about this all day, and that'll bore everybody to death. So I'm going to ask if we could move one more slide. I've got really the top couple of risks that we've seen COVID do really just in the months of March through May. So that this is this year. And I'm going to drop a couple of links in the chat so you can all have access to some different things here as we go through this. But really there's a handful. When I look at phishing and COVID-related attacks, all of these are related to COVID, but really the first two have been the most predominant. So phishing scams, of course, that's when you get an email that's malicious in nature. It may look authentic. It may actually, some of these really do look authentic. They've done a really good job. But it's the links and stuff that are inside of that. Really the goal of a phish is to get you to go somewhere, to download something, or to give something up. So typically what they'll ask for is they'll look for you to give up your credentials. It could look like an Office 365 or a Gmail or a G Suite login, where it'll say, hey, we just need to re-authenticate you. Go ahead and type your username and password. But it's not actually G Suite or Office 365 doing that. It's somewhere else, right? Once they get your password, they'll go set a forward up. And some of the attacks we've seen with that typically are focused around wire transfers or bank routing numbers, that kind of thing. So once they get your username and password, they'll log into your mail account. They'll maybe set up a forward to forward all information out to a different address somewhere. And these things are difficult to detect. So again, it goes back to that detection. It is something I have to look for. And the event that I'm going to look for as a security person is, hey, a forward was put into place, right? So that's something that they'll commonly do with phishing. We've had customers in some cases where they have been phished, a forward has been put in place. They'll look for a wire payment. We had a small business in the state of Minnesota that had about mid 40 some users kind of a thing. And they sent a couple $100,000 wire to the wrong account, right? Like this is what these guys are trying to do. They're looking for significant money transfers, and then they'll redirect it out to a foreign bank account. In some cases, it could be a US bank account as well. They'll open an account, transfer the money, and then typically these things disappear about as fast as they come up. How we protect, I've got some things on the right. Some of those are actual product names, like purchase a product name. Don't worry about that. I think the bigger thing is just talk to whoever provides you technical solutions and make sure that you feel that you're adequately covered for these, right? Know that, as you can see, the point I'm trying to get across, no one solution will protect against any one of these types of threats. It is a combination of things, which we call a layered defense. It really is a layered defense that does that. So phishing, for example, I'm going to do education. So I'm going to train my people on what to look for in an email, right? If you hover over a link kind of a thing, you'll see where that link actually goes. Does it go to Microsoft, or does it go to RN OSOFT, which RN looks really close to an M when you look at it. So those are common attacks that we've seen. Multi-factor authentication, or MFA, that's typically when you sign in, it'll ask you, hey, we're going to text you a code to your phone, type in that code, or maybe open up an app and hit allow or something to that effect. We really, really do encourage people to use those technologies. Typically now they're free or included in your solution through Microsoft or G Suite. And if they're, oftentimes if you're on a plan that they're not free, they're typically an extremely low cost. We're talking $1 a month add-on kind of a thing, or even less than that to get multi-factor. And it really does, that'll solve probably 95% of the problems that occur around authentication. That'll prevent it, right? Who doesn't want to be better protected for a couple bucks a month in that case? And that's something that I would always encourage to do, and do that on any of your accounts, LinkedIn, Facebook, anywhere that you can turn multi-factor on. That is a really good practice to do. RDP exploits, a remote desktop. So at the start of COVID, we saw a lot of people obviously have to go work from home. They would do patchwork ways of opening up access into their network. Hey, I still have to get to my data, because again, it is all about that data out and about. So they'd open up remote desktop. And unfortunately, remote desktop had some nasty vulnerabilities here in 2018 and 2019, to the point that Microsoft said, hey, we don't recommend that you use this solution anymore. There's some other ways to get to this. Probably best to not do this. And you know, due to the circumstances, we turn that back on. So what we would say is go back and redesign that. Just talk to a technologist, somebody that knows technology pretty well. Probably not just your neighbor guy that knows IT, unless he's actually in IT. But visit with somebody that's knowledgeable and current on current design techniques for remote desktop, and just make sure that that's protected or hardened as well as it should be. So that is one area that just protection does need to come back into it. Ransomware with data exfiltration. So this one is a very common one, unfortunately. In 2019, almost 500,000 businesses, small businesses in the United States, were impacted by ransomware. I've seen different reports, but the FBI says over $3.5 billion was made in payments. That was at least reported to the FBI. They know that number is higher. Ransomware has pivoted from no longer being just about the ransom. They know that us as technologists have done a really good job of selling backup solutions into even small business accounts and into individuals in a lot of cases. We've gotten really good at backing data up, so we're not paying those ransoms anymore. We'll just restore the data from a backup. So now what the bad guys have done, they've evolved. Now we're going to actually take some of your data and we're going to send it out. If you don't pay the ransom, then we'll just publicly release it, right? So now we've essentially just admitted that you had a potential data breach kind of a thing. And of course, now with all 50 states having data privacy laws and different ways to protect data, that can be almost as damaging, even if it's something kind of really not that impactful to your business. That can be quite damaging in of itself. So we've seen techniques for that mature over time. And again, there's some information in the links that I posted on what to do if you get ransomware. First and foremost, have cybersecurity insurance. That's what I would recommend to that. Typically, it's a small add-on onto your errors and omissions or your general business insurance. Cybersecurity is extremely important, and it actually will protect and help you during those types of events. And they're going to actually help you typically respond to that too. So if you have ransomware, they're going to be my first call. I'm going to call my insurer and get some help. Work from home is really a combination of all of the things up above. We've seen work from home completely expand the landscape that these types of attacks can come in, because our employees are decentralized. We're getting more communications via email, so phishing is more prevalent. We're doing things to work different, so the RDP or remote desktop exploits are also more prevalent because we've done some patchwork type things, and we've seen ransomware be more prevalent because of some of the things up above, and the bad guys are exploiting COVID-19, so we're seeing a lot of things come through with COVID in the name. A lot of malicious websites have been posted out, a lot of domain names, so that RN, SOFT, or the Microsoft with an RN kind of thing, or just different ways of spelling something. We've seen that become very prevalent as well. And that, if you think about the impacts on this, probably the biggest thing I can think of from work from home, it is important to protect against, because what we don't want to have happen is have one business literally attack another through ransomware. Right? My wife and I both work from home. I work for Marco. She works for a large bank in the country. I don't want to get ransomware on my home network. We're both connected to the same home network and have ransomware go from my workstation to her workstation. Now 2 organizations are impacted, and it can make a pretty tough situation from an incident response or computer forensics standpoint. So we really do want to avoid that. So really my point with that is you'll notice that the technologies involved there are all mentioned up above. It is something that we do want to make sure that we're at least protected and covered for. So do know what your solution looks like. And that's a lot of businesses are going back. We're seeing doors open, and that's fantastic. We also know that some organizations now are going to keep a certain percentage of their workforce home permanently, or at least for a significant period of time. And again, redesigning that, talking to somebody in IT and just making sure that you're protected. Again, a lot of these solutions It really is just a design thing. So it's you know, if you're hiring somebody to do that, it's a one-time cost. Or if you have the capabilities to change it yourself, typically it's just a small time commitment to re-architect and redesign. I have one more that I didn't get on here. Employment and unemployment scams have been up significantly just in the last couple of weeks. So I wanted to touch on that one real quick too, what to do. That last link that I posted, identitytheft.gov, that's an important one. So if somebody in your organization or you are succumb to identity theft, I would recommend that you go out to there first. That's going to walk you through the different resources available to you depending on the type of identity theft or the information compromised. In most cases, my recommendations would always be contact local law enforcement and make a report. If you've been suspected of having identity theft, get that local law enforcement report, because that will help protect you should any legal actions come up, such as your information being used to commit fraud and then a business trying to collect from you, right? And that's when I can personally speak from that. My wife had the medical scam that has been pretty prevalent for a number of years, happened to her about a year ago, and that was the first thing we had to do, is have a law enforcement report. Second thing I would recommend doing is, depending on the type of incident, reporting it to the FTC or the IRS, right? The Federal Trade Commission, and those links are in that identitytheft.gov, but that one will help protect as well. So they can do things with credit bureaus, that kind of thing. Credit bureau reporting, putting account freezes in place is all important. The last one would be IRS reporting. If you have been suspected of having identity theft, please report to the IRS. And that's one that it can make filing your taxes a little bit more difficult. If you do it on your own, you might get asked for that PIN code. That PIN code is what would allow you to do that. So those are really the top things that are hitting due to COVID-19. So thank you.
Thank you, Mike and Drew. Mike, that was fantastic information. We are running pretty far behind, so I am going to quickly introduce the Middleton Endowment, and I am going to go ahead and just turn it on over to Paul.
Hey everybody, it's good to be here, even if here means virtually here. And thanks to all of those of you who have given donations in the past. On behalf of the whole Middleton Endowment Board, we hope everyone is well, and we hope things will just keep getting better for everybody. The Middleton Endowment is presently governed by a board of 8 community members. I was recently named chairperson of the board. The endowment receives donations from individuals, businesses, and other groups. In the past, the board has awarded 2 grants per year, but from now on, the grants will be awarded on an annual basis. These grants are calculated to fulfill the the endowment's mission to enhance the quality of our life for present and future generations. The endowment's geographic focus is on Middleton and the surrounding areas. The endowment often works in cooperation with other groups, such as the Madison Community Foundation, Middleton Chamber of Commerce, and the Middleton Education Foundation. As you know, school was canceled in mid-March. Many students rely on the school district to provide healthy meals for their basic nutrition. With school closed, that meant lots of kids were going to have to go without breakfast and lunch, particularly on the weekends. On top of that, many of those kids, well, their parents lost their jobs. Middleton Education Foundation stepped forward to make sure kids got the meals they needed on the weekends and over spring break. The Middleton Endowment made a grant of $4,000 to the weekend food program to help that effort. The endowment was part of a program that served tens of thousands of meals to over 13,000 people. Meals were not limited to just students. Seeing a need to do more than just feed the hungry, the program expanded to include the provision of personal hygiene items. The program will run through June 30, 2020. The district will continue to provide meals in July and August at Sauk Trail Elementary School and Cromrie Middle School. The district is working with the Education Foundation to secure funding to expand the sites where meals are served during those months. Speaking of students, the endowment also made its annual scholarship to Middleton High School senior Anna Jordan. This year, there was no presentation ceremony, but I've attended in the past. I was an overachiever in high school myself, but these kids make my 18-year-old self look like a slacker. Anna was a stellar student with a cumulative GPA of 3.99. while taking 5 AP classes and 5 honors classes. She was highly involved in band, dance, and in her church. And she held leadership positions in her church and with the band as well. She intends to be a pediatric nurse attending Bethel University. Her passion is to help people. We hope the best for her, and we know she will make the world a better place. The endowment is also putting together a project to help local businesses, bringing attention to them and soliciting community donations to help them through these difficult times. The board wants us to be creative and unconventional. My favorite among the possibilities the endowment board is considering is sticking board member Kurt Fazard in a fire truck bucket until he's ransomed down. Please stay tuned to see what we come up with. We hope to have something up and running by the second week in July, if not earlier. Once more, the endowment board wishes a big thank you to all of you out there. As Coretta Scott King said, the greatness of a community is most accurately measured by the compassionate actions of its members. We will get through this mess because we are together, and we will prosper beyond our expectations because we are a community. Be well.
Thank you so much. All right, I know we're running behind. We're probably going to go a little past 9, so hopefully you guys can stay to make those connections. In a moment, you're going to be moved into breakout room. Make sure that you unmute yourselves and make sure that when you get there, you introduce yourself, you say your company name, and the question of the day, thanks to Lisa. Thank you for this one, Lisa. If you could hang out with any cartoon character, who would you choose and why? All right, break.